Today I will go through a few steps that will make your renders faster. They will not only save you time but also money if you're using a render farm. I assume the majority of you who are watching have some experience when it comes to rendering, but for you who are completely new, here are some easy steps to make your experience more enjoyable. Number 1. Make sure to be in the latest supported version of Blender. This may seem like an obvious thing, but many, including me, forget about this from time to time. Number 2. Use GPU and CPU when rendering. I've spent too many hours on rendering just because I didn't select both CPU and the GPU in the settings. This leads us to number 3. Use optics before CUDA or HIP if you're using AMD GPU. To be able to use either CUDA or optics, make sure that your GPU has at least compute capability of 3.0 or higher for CUDA and at least 5 for optics. Optics also requires a driver version of at least 470. If you have a RTX graphics card, optics will be your best option. If you suspect your GPU may not be suited for Blender, go into this link and see if your card is listed there. Optimizing the scene. There are many ways of getting faster render speeds, and I will only talk about a handful of them, but these are the techniques that I use when rendering. When dealing with large scenes, you may find yourself in a position where the GPU runs out of memory. In those cases, I have two options. Either render with only the CPU, because it has more RAM than the GPU has VRAM, or I go under the simplify and set a limit to the texture to be 1024. This will allow me to use my GPU and CPU even though earlier it couldn't handle the pressure. But if you don't have a scene with big textures or barely any at all, I should look over the poly count. If you go under overlays and check the little box for statics, you can see your poly count. The easiest way to reduce the poly count is via the simplifies way to limit the max subdivisions in the scene. This only works if you have the subdivision surface modifier enabled, and this usually works fine for scenes with many objects using the subdivision modifier. Another way of reducing the poly count is to use culling, also listed under Simplify. But the technique most used by me is to be aware of your poly count already from the start. What I mean with that is, don't create a cylinder with 200 faces just to make it smooth. I think you know what I mean. So be aware of your objects, and this will help you in the long run. Samples and light paths. The most discussed optimizing technique is the amount of samples and light paths used in the scene. Even though I don't focus so much on these things, it's quite important to know what they do and how to adjust them after your scene. If you don't know, one sample equals to one light particle. So for you to have a noise-free render, you need to have enough samples to clean out the noise. But what is noise? Noise appears when the light particle doesn't hit that specific spot, therefore creating a black dot. But having too much samples can take hours to render, so that's why we use denoise and noise threshold. Explaining these two gets complicated very fast, but I will do my best. For what I understand, denoise is taking information around the black dot and making an estimated color to fill in the blank. And noise threshold will decide whether it should add more sampling to the pixel or not. If the value is set to 1, it's the fastest but adds noise. If it's set to 0.001, it gets the best quality but it adds time. Denoise also has two denoisers, open image denoise and optics, but more on that later. The main thing we want to achieve is as slow sample as possible without reducing the quality of the final render. Throughout my testing, I've tried multiple different combinations of render settings, but one of them works okay for most of the scenes. It's not the best for everything, but it's better than default. And that is to use the default sample value of 1496 and add denoise plus noise threshold set to 1. I also changed the size from 100% to 200%, and if I'm not changing the size, I keep the noise threshold to zero point 0.5. I usually set the time limit on 10 seconds if it's going to be an animation, or between 40 seconds to a minute if it's going to be an image. These settings will I use as a base for my test renders. Good things to know. Under the Performance tab, there are a few things that can save you seconds if done right. If you have a low-end GPU, as I do, I suggest setting the tiling to 1024 or 512. It will make it easier for your GPU. Under the acceleration structure, there are something called spatial splits, which can save you time by a second or two. If you have a high-end CPU with a lot of RAM, you can also check the box for use curves BVH. It will use more RAM for faster renders. Persistent data is a lifesaver if you're doing animations. It will remember data to make the next render faster. Blender demo files. To make it easier for ourselves, I will show you some examples of my optimizing in Blender. I'll be using Blender's demo files for the purpose you might want to test it for yourself and have something to compare with. The demo files I'll be using is the classroom and the junkyard. You can find them on blender.org. In the classroom scene, rendering with the default settings and GPU plus CPU in optics, I was able to get a render time of 2 minutes and 22 seconds. By changing some settings, I was able to get a render time of 23.69 seconds, and the things I changed was noise threshold set to 1, denoise, and time limits set to 10 seconds. I also used tiling set to 1024 and use spatial splits, and max subdivision set to 2. This was done without any changes to quality. After I played around with the settings for a little bit, I was able to make an 8K render, and it only took me 8 minutes and 55 seconds. If I would do that with the default settings, it would take me about an hour. In the junkyard scene, I had some problems with the default scene because I ran out of VRAM, so I did some changes. I first unselected the GPU and only rendered on the CPU, and I got the time on 1 minute and 33 seconds. When I changed the texture limit to 1024, I was able to use the GPU and the CPU in the scene, and with the GPU and CPU I was able to get a time of 32 seconds. And with some adjustments I was able to get a time of 24 seconds using the settings of noise threshold set to 1, denoise default, simplify max subdivision set to 3, and texture limit set to 1024. Tiling was also set to 1024, and I used spatial splits. And this time, the fastest time I got from the junkyard is a 292% faster render than the first one I got with only the CPU. And also this time, this was done without any changes to quality. And if you're interested, the fastest time I was able to get with only the CPU was about 50 seconds, but this with some defects in quality. Now let's talk about the two denoisers, Open Image Denoise and Optics, because Open Image Denoise uses Intel's Open Image Denoise, an AI which runs on the CPU, and it supports a wide variety of CPUs and GPU, but it doesn't support my hardware. Same with the Optics denoiser, it supports all RTX graphics cards, and I have a GTX graphics card, so changing between these two doesn't change my time at all. But if you have hardware that is supported by one of these two, select that option. And if you want to know if your GPU or CPU follows the requirements, follow these two links, and I will also leave the links in the video description so you can find them easily.